This part of the story, this story arc that we're going to be going over, is going to take place about a month after what happened last time. And the strangest thing is that the church is still on fire. And the excuse that the mortals are being given on the news is that either an underground coal mine or an oil reservoir or something was under it. And the material that the building is made out of has been treated with flame retardant chemicals so long that it's just continuously burning, but not actually harming the structure for the most part. The red gas is still surrounding the city. The humans still blissfully unaware of its existence for the most part. And the kindred becoming more and more paranoid over the fact that it's there, and it doesn't even seem to be buffering the masquerade in any capacity. They have found openly that ghouls seem to be able to pass through the red gas without an issue, even though they can see it on occasion. Ghouls who are gifted with aspects, specifically sense the unseen, seem to be able to actually see it. Not exactly the same way as kindred can. They don't describe it as a red gas. They describe it as almost a billowing white smoke. They have a hard time actually seeing through it. But they can pass through it. It scares the hell out of them. There was one report, and this was hearsay. This is somebody heard about it from somebody else who heard a report from outside of Prague, kind of thing, that a particularly vicious ghoul who had been sent on many cleaning missions. In other words, he's going around killing people for masquerade coverage and stuff. This ghoul was said to actually have received third-degree burns when he touched the gas. I think the only other update that you all need to be aware of, except for the general chaos of the city, is Omnis is fairly positive that they have created a defense against the red gas. He's just looking for volunteers who want to try it out.
So, Mr. Prophet.
Yeah, come on, Benny. Let's do this.
I volunteer Prophet as tribute.
Wow. You guys are great. Oh my god.
Do we have any anarchs we can spare?
If you can catch one.
I think we already have one somewhere.
Most anarchs who have been captured, and I'm going to use captured very loosely, parentheses, underscore, italics, captured, have been taken into custody by Kirill and his pride. His pack, which he calls his pride or his lions, which are particularly vicious. Most of the anarchs that they've brought in are either missing limbs completely or are completely just in torpor, or don't last long in captivity.
So what you're saying is the red fog or the red mist, it would be a mercy for them. Is that what you're saying?
Am I sensing a walk the plank situation that you've got for some of these people?
Not particularly. I'm just like, it's such a waste.
Sacrifices must be made.
Mm-hmm. And if they're not going to last much longer in the custody of Kirill and his pride, then put them to use.
That is a statement that has twice as much meaning as it normally would for anyone else. Kirill and his pride.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. That is very true.
I'm curious. How did the events, or how did the details of that letter Emil gave to Maya turn out over the last month? How did that
Ooh.
progress?
Okay, well, currently, M is the acting prince of the city. There are a few Marcus loyalists who say that until a body or ash pile is found, they will not accept M as their prince. And Prince, and M is tolerating them in very passively. Omnis, in fact, is a staunch supporter of the fact that they need to have more evidence before they start naming princes. Kirill and his group are obviously massively against the whole concept of what's going on here, and Maya is all for M taking the reins as long as they don't know what's going on with Marcus.
And how does Custos feel about it?
Custos just wants order. He is a supporter of Marcus, but he also knows that Marcus was, or that M is Marcus's child, and if she has a letter from Lucinda saying that she has the Justicar's support, he will support her.
And did Maya happen to see to the legitimacy of said document?
No one has corrected it, if it's not.
Okay.
As it is with everything that's going on, the Justicars are a little difficult to get a hold of for the most part.
Right.
The likelihood of a house visit is fairly low.
Yeah. Yeah. There was at one point a helicopter that was apparently shot down.
Yeah.
At least that's that's the information that is floating around the kindred circles. If anybody watches the news or anything like that about the subject, it says that there was a malfunction. I'm going to go with that word. There was a malfunction. There, there was a malfunction, and it crashed down in a park towards the south end of the city. It's not said to have actually been attacked or shot down by human sources, but the kindred are fairly sure that it was intentional.
Has there been any whisper as to who might have been on that helicopter?
There are lots of rumors flying around.
These do.
Yes. There seem to be a lot of rumors, but M seemed to be particularly interested in who might have been on that helicopter. But aside from like a small coterie that got sent towards the beginning of the downtime about it, not much is really known about anything. There's a lot of rumors flying around that it could have been more of M's entourage, or it could have been somebody who was involved with the Justicar Council. It's just flying in every different direction, unlike the helicopter, which is pretty grounded.
In a smoldering pile.
Yeah, the entity has also set up another outpost in that camp around the wreckage. So it's pretty obvious that it was most likely kindred involved.
What's the current mortal perspective on these military, like the soldiers and stuff in the streets and the barricades and all that stuff?
The fighting, first off, is not as bad as it was when everything first started, but still, every once in a while, every couple of nights, there'll be a fight. A straight-out gun war between the Camarilla and the Anarchs. in some isolated portion of the city. It could be at the construction site towards the north, the abandoned shopping mall, around the hospitals, the train station. Every once in a while, there's some kind of outburst of guns. So, due to the fact that Prague is so strict on its gun laws, the way that the mortals are justifying everything is that military have been called in to basically handle whatever gang war or possible terrorist involvement this has.
Okay.
There are a lot of humans that are pissy that it's happening. But like it's also this is going on almost 2 months of there being like a curfew that they have to be in before the sun goes down, and not many people are actually listening to that any longer. A lot of them are actually taking the chance and possibly being like apprehended. But officially, there is still a curfew and all that. If we start off in the Elysium, which is still a rather crowded area with all these kindred. There's so many kindred who are just like they hate this. They talk about how horrible this is, but they seem to be thriving off the constant attention of their peers. So what does everybody where does everybody want to start? Where considering all of the information that you have, some of you have information that came in during in-week actions. Quick question, was there any in-week actions I didn't get to?
I didn't get my stuff to you till last night, but so that's kind of my fault.
Yeah, well, damn it. No, it's
Failures across the board, right? No, I'd hope not.
Due to Emil's due to Emil's lack of ambition, you will all suffer.
No.
Oh my god, that's fun.
I did put some things in my downtime and projects. I don't know if you saw.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Who was that speaking a second ago?
Profit.
Mr. Prophet. Okay.
So while that's all happening, I know Dr. Ford's probably going to speak up to Benny and mention something about the casket. The casket that's in the old prince's office.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we got going on there?
So let's just say that M does not want it opened. So while at some point we may be informed as to what's inside, for the time being, we're going to make sure it stays closed.
Can you elaborate as to what's in there?
Yes, but later.
Understood.
I could tell you.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
Does it not surprise me that you know?
You're what?
Why does it not surprise me that you know?
Oh. They say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
I just didn't know that that word had spread so widely.
Oh, it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't obtain the information from just anybody. I'm good at what I do.
So by just anybody, you got it from Maya, I presume?
I can't say as to who or who not my contacts and informations are. That would be breaking our agreement. Who did you get it from?
Well, if you had listened closely to what I had mentioned, you probably would have surmised.
Yeah, sorry, I was listening. I just catty behavior is a habit of mine. I'm not used to reining it in.
Ah,
Apologies.
no offense taken. I'm still dying to know who told you, though.
Well, I would tell you not to hold your breath, but
Not
it wouldn't
much for
really
breathing,
matter.
are we?
Nope.
Paul is watching the exchange somewhat excitedly.
You're so catty.
Oh, and Paul, you needn't worry about any reprisals from M.
Why would Paul face reprisals from M?
I took personal responsibility for destroying her ghoul.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry, you owe me.
Oh,
No
thank you.
reprisals from M. She never said no reprisals from herself.
Trust me, I can be quite resourceful. This is not going to be a big issue for you.
And dangerous. Just how I like them.
Dr. Ford, if there's anything I can say in regards to your character that you have shown time and time again, it is that you are in fact very resourceful. It was never a doubt.
Why, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Certainly know how to flatter a woman.
Well, I do try. And as you're displaying in this very moment, you seem to have a particular knack for being catty yourself.
Why, thank you. I know I'm in good company.
I've
So,
certainly enjoyed your presence. How is Siggy doing?
Oh, he's doing all right. I
He
have
is.
him working on assignment.
Ooh. Anything to do with all that putting the coterie efforts together?
Well, so I've been talking with Omnis, and I imagine I'm not the only one trying to figure out ways of circumventing or bypassing the mist, and primarily that's what I've been trying to keep him on task and focused on. But understanding also that Omnis has not really put their thumb on the scale of what to do since Marcus has not returned, I'm inclined to attempt to resolve his or resolve their concerns on the matter.
Well, as an independent ghoul serving the clan, I'm sure Siggy is a fit candidate for such a objective.
So she kind of looks a little bewildered because in her mind, she's thinking in terms of going into a burning cathedral. She does not want to send her ghoul into a burning cathedral. She just kind of gets wide-eyed at the thought of that.
Well, like I said, Omnis is looking for volunteer.
So, Dr. Ford, what's your mental white paper about Omnis's little red gas vaccination?
It is interesting. They haven't really kind of brought me on board in analyzing it in fully, but I do understand that Omnis is looking for ways to mass produce it. So it may be that we need to provide an additional supply of blood or some other ways of spreading it about a bit. But it's only a temporary resolution. It's not like a vaccine, and you can walk through the red mist forever. So I don't know if there's a particular duration, or if potency has something to do it. You did hear about that one ghoul who got third-degree burns, yes?
Yes.
So perhaps there may be different potencies of this plan that Omnis has that may be required for different kindred as well.
I had begun to wonder if, although the ghoul's actions were noble in serving the Camarilla, if in some way the damage of the gas was related to one's ability to cling to their morality, their humanity, as it were.
Their connection to their beast.
Inversely, yes.
I have heard that some ghouls have a tendency to feel a beast almost as strong, if not just as strong, as any kindred.
We've all seen the ghoul frenzy.
Couldn't do too much about it, though, thankfully. At least the one I saw. Does anyone have any thoughts to the logistics of how much longer this domain can sustain this siege?
I'm working on obtaining some of that information. But as of this exact moment, I'm still waiting to hear back from my contacts.
The problem is not many new people are going to come into a war zone.
That's one benefit, not as many kindred to feed. But then the other kind of inverse to that is, how many lines of supplies for blood do we have?
Yeah. Problem is, even the kind aren't going to want to come in here. With buildings on fire, shootouts in the street. It doesn't make for a wonderful tourist destination.
No.
Well, in all of your information digging on the red gas, have you perhaps surmised how it is the Vatican is continuing to obtain their supply of this? I've heard you speculate on it being a liquid and then vaporized, but what about the logistics of how they're obtaining it, how it's transported to them, where they're storing their reserves?
Those are all unknowns, at least on my end.
Same here. If I had information on how the Vatican was operating this siege, I would be using that information.
My estimate would be 3,612 hours on a diminishing scale, so 150.5 nights.
Well, that's more information than I have.
Well, if that's indeed an accurate estimation, then we know our timeline.
Variables?
Variables?
Yes.
That's like the ticker tape in my head. You have to look at current population minus diminishing vampires minus diminishing blood sources over time plus advances in their architecture of aggression against us. At first, I calculated a 180-day window, and then it diminished by about 30 days across most of those variables, assuming they stay consistent.
Okay.
Is that an average or a median?
The mode.
Oh,
Somehow I knew you'd say that.
well, I still don't know how you came to that number. I'll accept it. I'll accept it at face value. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to calculate the standard deviation in my head, but I'm getting interference. Standard deviation is about 41.4 days.
Okay. So we could have 2 months left, or 4.5-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, maybe I can't math apparently right now. So 100
Paul
plus
was first
40.
to Emil. What's the standard deviation?
It's a plus or minus. So it's like saying 10 days plus or minus 2, or something to that effect.
Yes. Plus or minus
Okay.
41.4, though at 2 standard deviations, that makes it much worse.
Yes.
Riley, did you say something to Emil?
Oh yeah, he whispered, "What's a standard deviation?"
You see him kind of perk up, like he's completely tuned out all the math stuff, and he's like, I'm no mathematician, dear."
Paul's clearly like his mind is just frying with the math talk.
Yeah, Emil's tuned out as well.
I'll look over at Paul. Don't worry, there'll be a quiz later. A key part of Kindred life is statistical analysis.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Well, everything's probability.
And we are all victims of physics.
So what do you think about, I'm rating probability low, but going to talk to Omnis and seeing what the deal is with this booster shot? I don't know what we're calling it here.
Inoculation?
Neutralization.
Dr. Ford, what's the correct term for this procedure?
Well, it's temporary, so it's not an inoculation. You could call it a kind of vaccine, because some vaccines are not permanent, and you have to get boosters from time to time. So this being the first one, it would not be a booster. So maybe just a short-term vaccine would suffice for, as far as terminology goes.
Maybe like an anti-inflammatory treatment.
Mm,
I like that word.
I like that one.
Get it? Anti-inflammatory. Looks at Benny. Anti-inflammatory?
I get it.
Face palm.
I appreciated it.
I thought it was clever.
Like ibuprofen.
Mm-hmm.
More like spray flame retardant foam.
Yeah, I wonder if we drank out of a fire extinguisher, if that would help. No, probably not.
Slow head turn towards Mr. Prophet. What's wrong with you?
You know, people commonly say that, but statistically, nothing is wrong with me.
Well, you say that now. Not too long ago, we had that whole kerfuffle with a dustbuster.
Wait. What are you saying, kerfuffle? I turned the dustbuster in. I'm assuming it had gas residue, which has led Omnis to develop this anti-inflammatory treatment. That was a success, buddy.
More by luck than good judgment.
And our dear Benny nearly got himself a face full of the mist.
But I did get a face full of the mist.
Chose
And I'm
to
saying
get a face full.
our dear Benny nearly did too.
Oh, Benny, I procured something for you. Prophet pulls out a knife sheath with a smiley face on it and hands it over to Benny. I don't want you to accidentally stab yourself again.
Accident. Yes. He'll take the sheath. Is there actually a knife in it?
No.
No. I'll see if I have one that'll fit it.
So in this think tank we have between us, what's our next move?
Well, there are a number of steps we could take. We could
It seemed
pursue
like
more information on the gas. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Ford, please.
No, it's okay. It seemed like most of us were interested in finding ways of getting through the gas. I do also have a personal interest in trying to figure out how to end the fire at the old church.
Well, I am afraid I've left my fire truck at home. So perhaps I can assist in the other matter. I have recovered some information that would lead me to believe that there is a method in which we can circumvent the gas altogether.
Or you could teleport through it like I've seen you.
No. No, unfortunately, it requires good old-fashioned legs to walk you out. But it would potentially avoid the gas entirely, allowing exit out as well as reinforcements in to assist us. My contacts outside of Prague have informed me that the Camarilla is attempting to assist this domain, understanding that Prince Marcus has been missing for 2 months. The Camarilla, the greater Camarilla as a whole, I believe, has assumed that he is dead, destroyed, and they would like to assist, but the mist poses issues, so beyond mortal retainers and such, they can't really do any work here. And other contacts of mine have informed me that he stops for a minute. I can't believe I'm giving you all this for free. That the Vatican is funneling a large quantity of money to a special project in Prague. Mortal legal jargon would portray it as a form of cathedral restorations and such of that, but we know the truth.
And the truth is, what we make of it?
The truth is that the Vatican is funding money here to support their Inquisition, the entity.
Oh, good.
So with
I was
them
afraid they were.
funneling so much money in, the Camarilla's mortal influences are limited in what they can do. When the full power and wealth of the Vatican is funneled into such a small location, such as our domain, it's going to be very difficult for the Camarilla to assist us in any capacity without directly being able to send agents in to help us on the ground. Which brings me back to what I believe will allow us to circumvent the gas. Apparently, if my contacts are to be trusted, there is, beneath this very haven, or Elysium, an old series of an old network tunnel beneath the city that has access to outside of the area that we are trapped in.
Containment zone. let's call it what it is. We're being contained here.
Yes, the kill box, as Mr. Prophet put it. I believe that one of these tunnels will lead us out. And if we can locate it, then I can send word to some of my contacts outside who have more sway than I do, and they would potentially send in assistance to help us.
Has it not been tried by the Nosferatu? The underground is their domain.
Well, considering that these documents are about 12th century old, there's a very fair to reasonable chance that the current denizens of the Nosferatu clan are not even aware that it's there. But there is someone who would know of it, of how to access them.
The person in the coffin.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
A true and proper prince would be a threat to M's claim to the throne.
You think Marcus is in the coffin?
No,
It's someone else.
it's a previous
Older.
prince. Much older.
I thought we wanted him in power.
Oh, I don't particularly care who runs the domain. But this individual could help us keep the domain. In the grander scheme of things, petty squabbling amongst the court, while it is my favorite pastime, is not relevant when imminent death is staring us in the face.
Take it from me, waking the elders is not a fun pastime.
You have experience.
My clan has an experience.
Let's see.
That's right. I heard about that.
You should have, most definitely.
It's
Yeah.
that whole squabble in the 90s, right?
Not quite. No. At least I don't think that's the one you're referring to. But this prince in the box, so to speak. I understand that he's a Toreador.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh. Two should
So
meet up and discuss what you know. That way, we have the full picture.
Yes, by all means, Dr. Ford, please enlighten us.
that's actually really the extent of what I know.
See,
A former prince, a Toreador, in the box. But see, the thing is, if you knew that, Emil, this would be clearly an opportunity for yourself and your clan to take advantage of this domain.
well, Dr. Ford, there are so many ways that I could respond to that.
How many?
Well, when I say take advantage, I don't mean it derogatorily. For instance, if that prince were a Tremere, I would say the same thing about myself.
The chances of a Tremere prince, though, so low.
Yes.
I'd vote for Sigmund.
You'd vote for Sigmund to be prince? What?
Let's make buttons.
Siggy for Prince. Vote Siggy.
Goal of the year.
I don't even want him embraced. I just want the Ghoul Prince of Prague.
Oh dear. He'd get too big for his britches. Ugh.
They attempted the Ghoul Prince of Dallas, so.
Well, please, Dr. Ford, continue. My clan could take advantage and control of the domain if there were a Toreador prince. Please continue on that train of thought.
that's really where the train was. Just sitting there.
The Toreador and the Ventru constantly war for power or for the princedoms. It's nothing new there.
Benjamin, my dear.
Can I
if
please
you
get
haven't figured it-
Can I please get a composure and resolve roll from Emil?
Sure.
Oh,
Let me reference my sheet real quick. Is this including Hunger Die?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it very well might be your beast talking to you.
Okay. Looks like 2 successes with a 1 on the Hunger Die.
2 successes. Okay. I might send you a personal message.
Okay. But Emil picks up, kind of interrupts Benny. Benjamin, dear, it is kindred nature, regardless of clan or lineage, to squabble over power. What else do these immortal sycophants do with their time?
See, that's where we differ. My clan has never vied for power.
No,
We take it when we have to.
If my education on your clan is to be perceived as accurate, your clan has a ancient mandate that it has staunchly tried to serve throughout the ages, while often villainized and output to the stake because of their zealous loyalty to this mandate, if I'm not mistaken.
Some are zealots, but we've broken away from the older traditions. Embrace the new. We still hold our place as the judges of our own kind, though.
Your own kind as in your clan, or as in kindred as a whole? Or
All kindred.
Should I say, a more familiar term for you, Canaanites?
Call a wolf a wolf. We are what we are.
Oh, I don't mean offense by it. I've met a few of your clan in the past, and they had a difficulty adjusting to the terminology of the Camarilla.
Guess I'm missing why it's a big deal. So what if the person in the coffin's a Toreador? Maybe Emil becomes Seneschal. Emil's a people person. Why would that be so bad?
I've got no problems with Emil being Seneschal. I've got no problems with, anyone here taking a seat of power at the table. It's what is that person, that coffin, going to do to further our current problem?
Well, as it stands, they're currently the only person in the domain that I believe has reason to actually know of our way to safety. I could care less about political domain squabbles and which clan holds power, this, that, and the other. You see him kind of pause for a moment, as if like an intrusive thought just entered his head, and he continues on. Regardless of what Dr. Ford may perceive to be my political aspirations or motivations, I have been forthcoming with you for my true intentions since we first met. I would like to know the fate of Prince Marcus. If he has met his final death, so be it. Who replaces him is no matter of mine. I simply wish to see such a beautiful city as Prague continue to prosper for all kindred.
So is the problem that no one there can get close to the coffin to do whatever?
No, my understanding, and storyteller, correct me.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that M has the coffin of said prince in her office?
And it was locked up.
The coffin, which was found in the wall when Kirill ripped through the bricks and started putting together his little Bruja Rumpus room, is in fact up in M's office, which was formerly Prince Marcus's office. It's still as it was found. It is a large iron coffin that is completely wrapped up in iron chains.
I mean, Dr. Ford, if you would for
Yes.
just a moment, you speak of my political aspirations, but I understand that you're quite one of very few Tremere in the city.
Hopefully the only.
Well, that being said, should we not question, or at least bring light to the potential that it would have for you and your political aspirations if a prince as old and potent as this one were to be awakened by the very hands of this coterie? What favors would be shined upon you?
I am not used to such rewards. My limited experience with elders is that of misunderstanding. I worry. That's perhaps the simplest way to describe how I feel about this prince in the box.
Why do you worry?
Why is he there in the first place?
Oh, you don't know?
No, I said the extent of what I've learned is a Toreador prince in the box.
I know, forgive me, Dr. Ford. I just enjoy hearing other people admit they don't know what I do.
Oh, yes.
You know their name?
You're such a dick. I couldn't even hold that in. Like, you're just such a dick.
Oh, you don't know, do you? He's lied to me.
I enjoy hearing people admit that they don't know things that I do. Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
Can I get you to say that while swirling the glass of blood with one finger?
Oh my god!
You gotta twist your mustache around.
The only way it could be worse is if I just had a gif of like Emil eating an apple. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for breaking character. You guys are doing great. Please continue.
No, it's Dr. Ford hit me with some real catty lines there at the opening, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get her to admit she doesn't know what I do.
This is great. I'm sorry for interrupting.
It's beautiful.
There was a mic drop.
Paul is like bursting at the seams as he's like listening to this.
Well, allow me to catch you up to speed. And I will make this one noted. To know the rest of this information will cost. Because it's quite useful information, if you know what to do with it. The Toreador who resides within that coffin is Prince Vasily. They were locked up by the former Bruja Justicar, Karlak. The reasons and motivations for why Prince Vasily was locked up is because after presumably, to further Karlak's aspirations, or necessity of their time, because shortly after Karlak walled Vasily up, they assumed Prince, position of Prince, claimed praxis, and no one could stand to rival them. That was going back at least 2, if not 3 princes ago.
So it was a Bruja coup.
Seems that way, yes. There.
How would the
Yes.
current Bruja feel about this?
Well, considering Kirill's got a hankering for the death of anarchs, I would presume another person getting in the way of his control over his ability to do that would probably annoy him greatly. Which, you see him, they'll kind of look up and think for a minute. Oh, minus the property damage, that would actually be fun.
We've seen an enraged Kirill once. Do we want to see that again?
No, I don't believe there are too many more statues Custos can send us after.
Yeah.
So Dr. Ford starts counting on her fingers.
You can see Benny's eyes roll back as he is considering options. That's a gamble we may not want to take just yet.
Of course, I mean, we could do the dirty work ourselves and attempt to locate an access point into these underground tunnels for ourselves. If none of you fancy the idea of the political gymnastics that it would take to wake Prince Vasily.
I may have a way of retrieving the information without having to wake him.
Oh,
That would be ideal.
well, do enlighten me.
Do you need to be in
It's-
close proximity, Dr. Ford?
Oh yes, it would be quite complicated. And first and foremost, I would only do it with the permission from M. Because it is dangerous.
Dangerous for who?
That is one of those big unknowns. It could be dangerous for everyone in the room when it happens. Could be just dangerous for me. It could be dangerous for just her. It could be dangerous for the whole domain.
And we fancy this option more than just waking him up.
Well,
Which we know for a fact will be all three of those things.
yes. Because there's always the possibility that it might prematurely wake him up.
Let sleeping elders lie.
I understand your hesitation to awaken one as old as Vasily, but the mind of an elder is honestly so intriguing, don't you think?
No.
If
Yes.
it's anything like the mind of my sire, it's dreadfully boring.
Some
Is anything
people
like
are.
the mind? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, some people are just naturally dull shade of gray when it comes to looking into their personality, but not everyone. I mean, where else could you get raw details about the history of the world? Who better to get it from than from someone who lived it?
Mhm.
Problem is, you're waking up old prejudices.
Emil kind of chuckles and he's like, I know.
It may be just the knowledge of knowing that there are tunnels that go to various destinations from just beneath our feet is sufficient.
Like I
And she
said,
looks over to Paul. How does your shadow feel about going for a walk?
It could do that.
Emil just kind of looks at you puzzled.
We just have to know where to point it.
Yes, Emil. where should we point it?
Well, the closest place would be directly beneath this Elysium. If you wanted to know where again it could look, that would be. Yeah, no, sorry, I was rereading my notes. That would it would just be here in the Elysium, or somewhere near the Elysium, if not.
Oh, so the entrance may not be literally beneath our feet.
The way it was described gives me reason to believe that it is beneath the Elysium, but if not directly beneath it, then nearby. Unfortunately, that's the best I could do. I didn't read the 12th century schematics myself.
Do we have access to those?
12th century schematics?
Yeah.
No, I know someone.
Well, if we can find a crack, I can send my shadow down it.
I suppose we could always ask Kirill to just punch the floor really hard.
Now that you mention Kirill, I think it's fascinating that he's the one who intentionally or unintentionally dug up Prince Vasily, seeing as there's bad blood between their clans, I would assume.
Ironic.
Or planned.
Did he have any ties to that old Bruja?
Well, Kirill is old. And if Vasily was put away even recently, or even if maybe 100 years ago, there's a solid chance that they may have known each other.
And if my understanding on Kirill's age is accurate again, then it's very possible. And perhaps we could ask Kirill.
You can do that. Absolutely.
Very well.
Lamb
Well, good
to
luck
the
to you.
slaughter.
What'd you say, Benny?
Lamb to the slaughter. Don't do that.
How long do you think you would last if you walked up to Kirill and say, "Are you secretly bloodbound to Prince Vasily?"
Why would I ask such a question?
I'm just imagining you doing that.
Well, I wouldn't ask it with in such a direct and tactless manner. And why would I?
Well,
Why
I
were
could
we
just
assuming that he's bloodbound to Vasily? Simply wish to know if he is aware of who they are.
That's right. He could have been dominated.
Why are we assuming Kirill is in any form of subservience to Vasily?
I'm just imagining you going up and asking him directly. It's quite a thought.
Well, shall we ask Kirill what he knows of Vasily, or perhaps what he could tell us about the lower portions of this Elysium?
Yeah, that would probably be a sufficient way of asking without causing intentional offense.
Oh, my
But then,
intentions are not to offend Kirill.
I wonder if he knows that it's Prince Vasily in the box.
Only one way to find out. Bill's gonna just tip his glass back, set it down, and presumably start walking toward Kirill, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
Oh Lord.
Drama. You're
Oh.
like the cattiest catty girl in high school.
Yeah.
Dr. Ford is egging him on. Oh, man.
Benny is trying to talk sense into him.
Okay.
Do you think that's a wise idea? Again, if he has harsh feelings for Toreador, the Toreador going up and making any insinuation, would this be a good idea?
Are you saying this in character? Oh. Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can
Was
you hear
Benny
me?
saying that? Yeah, I can hear you
Yes.
now. Was Benny
Okay.
saying that in character?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Can you repeat it again?
Oh, good Lord, no.
Okay.
It was on the spot.
Okay. I vaguely remember what you said, but I got caught up trying to flip through my settings, so I thought I lost connection for a second.
Do you think it would be a good idea for Toreador to insinuate anything to him if he has bad blood with Toreador? Was the
Well,
gist of it.
we don't know that he has bad blood with Toreador.
I
We're making a
know
lot
you
of
risk your life on it.
We're making an awful lot of assumptions.
I'll go with you, Emil.
I'll go
Thank
with you too.
Mr. Prophet. Thank you, Benny. Paul?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll help.
May help to have a judge in your corner.
I'm not the most social person, but maybe frame it in terms of we're trying to solve this city dilemma, and could you help us if you know anything about fill in the blank?
I believe I know how to.
Yeah, if you keep them talking, I can maybe analyze them.
That shouldn't be difficult. Emil's going to start heading toward Kirill.
Okay.
Yep, follows.
Here we go.
And behind him.
Is Dr. Ford coming?
Dr. Ford is just kind of beside herself with the idea. But I've got to duck out just for a little bit. So I will say that she does not go. Instead, she's going to go to Omnis to talk to about the possibility of any unexplored tunnels in the lake. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So the rest of you are marching in on Kirill. Has anybody been in the Bruja area since Kirill has broken things down?
No.
So
I don't think so. No.
Everybody just avoided this area. Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the hole in the wall. You basically you cross the grand floor of the main Elysium area, which is flagstone floor with this massive Camarilla Ankh worked into it. The medieval clan crests hanging on shield, just kind of flowing in the stale breeze above your heads, and right past Custos's little makeshift desk that he has there. You have to go up the stairs that leads to a landing that looks over the main area of the Elysium, and there's this massive eyesore of a hole in the wall. The walls itself are made out of brick, and Kirill just, after he punched a hole and found that there was space behind the wall, he and his lions just grabbed whatever implement of destruction they could. Hammers, like just sledgehammers and things like that. Some of them just using their bare fists, and just breaking and destroying, pulling the bricks out. Most of them have just been pretty much just pushed off to the side. Anything that was in the Elysium proper, Custos has had people clean up for him. There are mining lanterns, electrical, not like gas or anything like that. There are those big heavy bulb lights that like are on extension cords that are just kind of like nailed into the walls as you walk down like a 30-foot long corridor that's just right through brick and stone. This is the area the where the casket itself was found. When you get down further, it opens up into this massive tunnel system. It actually kind of has the look of maybe an old subway tunnel or something like that, but there's no tracks. There's no sign that was ever really the case. And when you get in here, it's just god awful loud punk music with a couple pool tables, some old couches, pretty much any kind of furniture that was just found on the side of the road. And and a bar.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
As Emil is getting up to the eyesore of a hole in the wall, he is going to take his dress coat off and just hang it on like a protruding brick.
Okay.
He's gonna unbutton his sleeves and roll them up about 3/4 of the way up his forearm. Unbutton the first 2 buttons of the shirt, and just kind of ruffle his hair a little bit to like that messy kind of punk, like purposefully messy kind of punk look.
Yeah.
And as he begins to walk down the like this walkway, you kind of see his posture change from like perfect straight posture with like equally measured steps to more relaxed, more casual, and he just throws his hands in his pockets.
Prophet will start humming the tune to Staying Alive.
Oh, man. That's great. All right. So, the floor itself is uneven. You guys are going to have to be careful when you walk. There's cobblestone, there's flagstone, there's a trail of pallets that leads down the center of the floor. And there's also, and this is probably going to be painful for Emil, mostly, probably some of the most expensive rugs that you could possibly think of, just thrown down to soak up whatever moisture is collected on the floor. And, aside from, like, a few Bruja who are playing pool, reading magazines, giving each other, like, barbaric tests of strength, things like that, you just have Kirill over by the bar, with a painting up on the wall that looked very nice at one point, but he has someone has subsequently painted a red, like with red paint, a mustache and horns on the guy, kind of giving him like a little devil look.
Would there be any way of identifying who the individual in the painting is?
If you want to roll your intelligence, politics, and you can add city secrets to that.
Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
4 successes.
I could willpower.
I think 4 should be enough. The painting is actually a high-end Camarilla member. It's a Ventru. I'm pretty sure it was like the old Ventru Primogen.
Okay.
Of the area. Yeah, sorry, I don't have any better information for you on that, but
Oh, that's okay. You can always give it to me later if you remember.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I just don't want to slow things down.
No, you're fine.
I didn't expect you guys to go provoke Kirill, but all right.
For the sake of conversation, or for the sake of what Kirill needs to know, it's not Vastly.
It's not.
Okay. Kirill's just gonna stroll in all casual like.
Mm-hmm.
and kind of, I guess, just stroll up to the bar.
Yes.
He'll,
Kirill
is
just
Kirill
kind of he looks
is
at you
Kirill,
and he, huh?
is Kirill behind the bar or in front of the bar?
No, he's standing in front of the bar.
Okay. Emil will stop probably about 5 to 10 feet away,
Okay.
and just kind of give a proper nod, Sheriff.
What do you want?
Well, my he kind of looks back to the rest of you, Coterie, and I were, and you guys kind of listened. Like his tone kind of changes, is less proper. We were just having a conversation about the state of things, and I was trying to do some research on my own to see if I could help out a little bit, and it came to my attention that maybe you'd be the person I needed to talk to find out some information that might help the domain as a whole.
I have been here
So,
the longest.
well, precisely why I thought you would be the one to maybe know some information on it.
What is it? What do you want?
Well, we were talking about the gas, how to get out of it, how to circumvent it, all that good stuff. To spare you all the boring details, would you know anything about like tunnels underneath the Elysium?
Tunnels under the Elysium.
Yeah, they're like real old.
He he looks he looks like he's actively trying to remember something. Like if anybody could put like a description on this man's face right now, he looks like he's attempting to use his potence to remember.
All right.
Very
It also,
Bruja. Very
like,
Bruja.
if he tried any harder, he might get a nosebleed. But
I love Kirill.
he
I know.
he scratches his chin for a little bit, ruffling his beard, and he looks at all of you, and then looks back at Emil. My Messiah once said that there were tunnels that run all throughout Prague. That they were built by the Nosferatu during the siege of the... Who were they? The Knights of St. George. Or no, the Knights of St. John, when the Frenchmen came.
Cool. Very cool.
She said that Prince Joseph was able to get into almost any building in Prague.
Well, that's pretty useful. Any idea where we could start looking for that? I had a lead, but I don't particularly fancy the idea, so.
What is your thought?
Well, wasn't really my thought so much as it was one posed to me by someone else. But these are really old, like what 12th century by what you say.
Aye.
So, if there was anybody from that time period within our grasp who might know the information, might have been the person, depending on who it is, the one in the coffin. But I don't particularly fancy the idea of waking up something that I don't know the identity of, so.
Kirill bursts into this jovial laughter and slaps the bar so hard it cracks underneath his hands. And
That's good.
He wouldn't know.
Okay.
Vastly, I'm much older than Vastly.
Okay.
Vastly was only prince for a couple of decades. Not long at all. He took
Oh,
over. He took over after Prince Z was killed by the Nazis.
oh, okay. So Prince Vasily is who's in the coffin?
Hmm. Toreador Prince Vasily. He was put. He was put in there by Karlach, the Justicar for Clan Bruja.
Well, I'm sure he probably deserved it or something.
He just kind of like shrugs and goes back to his drink when you say that.
Emil shrugs with him, like, well, uh, if you know more about it, these tunnels, than anybody else in the Elysium, is there maybe an idea you got you could point us in the direction and we'll go find them for you?
I can think of one person who might actually know where these tunnels are. But I don't know where to find them. In fact, I've got all of my hounds out searching for them right now.
Hmm.
Since you need to know tunnels, I might be persuaded to have them brought back alive.
Who would that be?
A Bruja by the name of Catherine Weiss.
Uh,
She was
I
here
feel like
back then.
I feel like Emil would have to make a composure subterfuge roll to not like act like he knows who that is.
Go for it.
Like if I'm being fair, I feel like he would have to try to pretend like he doesn't know who that is.
Yeah.
2 successes. I'm gonna willpower.
I love how you called for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I'm just trying to be fair to to be true to the character here.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm hoping for 1 success.
Yeah, 2 successes.
I think your arrogance is going to win out here.
All right. He can't help but crack a smile, kind of a knowing smirk before he chokes it back down.
He's Kirill is going to look at you and step forward. He's going to directly get in your personal space.
That's okay.
And you can smell the blood on him as he gets up in your space, and you know Ice.
He meets Kirill's gaze.
Yeah, before you have a chance to say anything else, he's gonna go, "You're American. Are you from New York?"
So Emil meets Kirill's gaze. He's not trying to cower in front of Kirill,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't. But he's still being respectful. But he is trying to like he kind of straightens his posture and stands his ground. Yeah,
I'll step up right behind him.
yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah,
He
I've heard of
he
Weiss.
he actively starts breathing
Okay,
and growling.
okay.
Little bits of blood flecks from his mouth might sprinkle you on the face a little bit.
Emil is just trying to hold his spot, not really react.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
need another composure and resolve from you real quick.
All right. Can I blood search this?
You can. Because what he's doing is actively trying to intimidate you right now.
Okay, cool. Social combat, love it.
Yes.
We don't get to do. I don't get to do a whole lot of social combat in my games, so I love this.
You will be taking a if you lose this, you will be taking a superficial willpower damage from this.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you'll just be a little bit more sheepish around him.
Yeah, it's understandable. Will this include my hunger dice as well?
Yes, because it is a social challenge.
Okay. Is it worth a willpower?
It's worth one either way, I suppose.
Yeah, as I say, I'll
Is
spend a willpower.
is it worth another willpower? Is what you should be asking.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Emil's trying to make an impression here. I don't know.
This relatively short Brujah is just towering over Emil right now.
That is a critical success. For 5, 6, 7 successes.
Is it a critical success?
It is. I rolled. Oh, it's a messy critical
Messy crit.
success. Oh.
Oh, because you got... Oh, shit. Okay. I didn't see that for... Oh, crap. Okay. All right. So, you're going to go ahead... Since he's attempting to... He's attempting to basically put... Sorry, I'm massively distracted. I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll be right back, I promise.
I'm so proud of you, Emil.
This takes balls. You may not have them much longer, but
Emil's a daring soul when it comes to talking to people in the court.
I'm simultaneously glad and disappointed that Dr. Ford is not there. Oh, to see her watch this, and then at the same time, if there is actual frenzy about to happen, I'm so glad she's far away from it.
I don't really know what's going to happen here, but well, needless to say, my butthole is puckered.
as of a decimal point.
Yeah. That's right. I said that on recording.
Okay, sorry for disappearing.
No, it's okay. I'm only dying of suspense.
Okay, sorry. He is obviously trying to establish dominance over you.
Right.
And so you are now under the compulsion of dominance.
All right. I'm going to brush up my compulsion knowledge real quick.
Yes, basically what it has to be is after this interaction, for the rest of this scene, you have to try to establish dominance in another situation.
Okay. After this scene?
After this part, because you basically are winning here.
Okay.
Okay, so you are definitely going to win this, but basically your cockiness is going to be amped up to 11.
Oh, it wasn't already? Perfect.
So you are basically down 2 traits in all challenges until you establish dominance against somebody else.
Okay.
Okay? So as Kirill is staring you in the eye and basically just being this wild beast in your face and you don't back down, he busts into laughter, slaps you on the shoulder, and goes, "Then you know the stupid bitch," and just starts laughing.
Yeah, I know her pretty good. Well, not personally, but I know enough about her to know she is a right nasty one.
I will visibly exhale.
She claims, and he'll turn to all of you and say this, she claims to be a loyal member of the Ivory Tower. But I know differently. I know for a fact that Catherine Weiss was the Archbishop of New York up until recently in the Sabbat.
No joke.
And now she's here.
Well, interesting information.
Sabbat turncoat.
Or she's playing
So she's-
both sides.
Well, the issues that the Sabbat are going through right now, I really don't have any. There's no surprise that she is doing this. However, I can tell you that before the Camarilla came into power, Catherine Weiss was known as a Katarina the Wise. And she was the head of the Bruja clan here in Prague.
Yeah. I think I've heard something about that. They called her the agitator of Prague, right?
Hmm. She is my sire.
No shit.
The agitator of Prague? That's who Catherine Weiss is?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You didn't know that?
I hadn't connected it yet.
I'm glad
This
you
has
got
been
there.
in character. Huh.
She
I
is
know a lot
here.
about kindred history.
She is here. She is dangerous. And she might very well be using the Anarchs to fight against us.
Oh, there's no question. I've already got proof that she is.
Oh?
Well, I guess Omnis obtained the proof, but I saw it firsthand.
He's gonna get really agitated at that point. What proof?
Oh yeah, that's probably a good point. Enough to call it not enough to pin her for breaching the masquerade, but I know she's working with a. You ever heard of Agatha Steric?
The Red Lister?
Yeah, not her, but the protege of her.
Hmm.
Real chip off the old block she is. They're both here in Prague, and I've seen them on video. They're working together.
My lions have reason to believe that there is a kindred cult in the city that is causing issues. I believe that a Katarina is involved.
Well, I guess wouldn't
She,
put it past Natalie to be involved in that.
they may very well be trying to establish a Sabbat stronghold here, using the confusion of this blood hunt as a way of gaining power. But
Oh, we'll
a
finally speak
Katarina
up
would
and
know
act.
where a Katarina would know where the tunnels are.
Well, you said your lions are in the process of hunting her down.
Attempting.
Hmm.
She's elusive.
I mean, she's your sire. Surely you know something about her.
I have one idea where she might be. Over at the university. She used to haven beneath it. And he's gonna turn around and go back to drinking, like the conversation's just even like not even considering his full concentration. And her and my brother.
Her and your brother.
Christoph.
Does Emil know? Does that name ring a bell at all?
Give me a intelligence plus insight.
Okay.
Cause memories.
Intelligence, insight.
Yep.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
It's a memory roll. If you lose it, you just don't get anything.
Based on my rolls tonight, 2 successes.
2 successes? The name sounds familiar, but I mean, it's one name, Christoph. You've probably met like a billion Toreador trying to be fancy named Christoph.
Yeah, it's probably true, yeah.
Can I throw that roll?
Let's see. What kind of connection to like kindred history or anything like that would you have?
Just general knowledge of history.
General knowledge of history?
Yeah, because I've studied kindred history as part of,
You know what? Sure, go ahead.
2.
2? Again, name sounds familiar. Actually, you know what? I'll be nice. Anybody who has city secrets can make that roll, and you can add your city secrets to it.
Good.
It would have just been 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence wins insight.
Intelligence plus insight plus your city secrets.
Oh, Lord.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. Whew.
Okay, my screen changed really quick. Who got what now?
I got 2 successes.
Okay, 2 successes.
Looks like Mr. Prophet got 3.
3.
Emil got 3.
Okay. So, Emil and Mr. Prophet, I'm going to give you something. Can we go to a private area?
Yeah, we can go behind closed doors.
Yeah, behind closed doors, Emil and Prophet.
Okay.
Just click on it and
Okay. You two actually do remember hearing something about this. Out of 3, you're going to know that in 1999, there was a severe siege of the Sabbat on the east coast of the United States. Kindred, as far as Europe, were coming over to see if they could help. Like, the Camarilla lost a huge portion of their territory because of this attack. And, however, they did, gain New York completely. The reason this is coming up is because one of the major fights in Baltimore involved a person named Christoph Romuald, which is said to have been involved in Prague somehow in the Dark Ages. This individual tore ass and killed a whole bunch of Sabbat, and then just disappeared one night without a trace. When people did more research on figuring out who this guy was, Christoph Romuald is said to have been the possible cause that led up to the death of the original Prince of Prague, Rudolf Brandl. So this guy is really, really freaking old and really powerful, apparently, and everybody thought he was dead for centuries.
And what was the original prince's name?
Rudolf Brandl. And that is the information that I'm going to give you. He apparently died. I will say that he died in the year 1199.
The prince did?
Yep. Do with that information as you will. I'm going back to the Elysium.
Died in what? 11 what?
1199.
Alrighty.
All right.
Is even a thing.
Okay, I am back.
So y'all enjoying your juicy secrets?
I guess you two just give each other a sly look.
I'm not here.
Oh, hi, welcome. If you want your character to walk into the room, there's no reason why you can't join. You knew where they were going.
And
Yeah.
we have been gone a second, and nobody's been found dead. So that's good.
No blood-curdling screams could be heard from the space below Elysium.
There should be an earth-shattering kaboom.
No, just god-awful punk music.
Sludge pop.
Sludge pop.
Hey, you said your brother Christoph?
Aye?
Like the Christoph from Prague that helped the Cam take New York?
That would be him, yeah.
Alright, cool. So what's he got to do with Katarina?
She's his sire.
And are you saying he's with her?
He could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I wasn't embraced until, like, not to date myself, but, like, needless to say, I didn't see his exploits firsthand. I just know about them.
I never met him, but she never shut up about him.
Well, if what I know about him is even fractionally true, uh, I don't particularly fancy the idea of trying to bring Katarina in. Like, her alone is a big enough issue.
She is one hell of a blood sorceress.
Emil just kind of blinks, like, processing the frightening entity that is a Bruja, an ancient Bruja with who's a master blood sorcerer.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, Kirill is just gonna laugh at that and probably pat you on the back.
Well,
he's like I wouldn't turn you in, and it just goes with that. And then he calls you a fucking cannibal and goes back to his drink.
well, if you guys, your lions, have any luck catching her, I guess if you want us to look, get any information about some tunnels and you want to have us look into them, just give us a yell.
I'll tell them to try to bring them in alive, but I can't promise anything. Hell, Chrissy might actually know where the tunnels are also.
I mean, if he's around and more amicable than Katarina is, what's your chances of just sending him an email and asking for a little history lesson?
Yeah, like I said, I'd never met him.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, I guess that's pretty much all. I just was trying to see if I couldn't help make an offer to somebody about looking for these tunnels, but if there's not really a lead to go on other than Katarina the Wise and Christoph Rommel, it's a bit above my pay grade. And he kind of does like awkward finger guns.
Mm-hmm. He's just gonna roll his eyes when you do that. Fucking Toreador.
So, you mentioned Prince Yosef.
Aye.
Does he have any childer or grandchilder that might know?
Nah, he never wanted to bring anyone into this life.
Where is he?
He died at the end of a Nazi flamethrower back in World War II.
Guess that makes him pretty much unable to be contacted.
Aye. Unless you know Giovanni.
Not locally.
No, I don't consort with that sort. There are some things even I won't do.
Short
Even
list.
for $20?
Emil kind of chuckles. Yeah, even for $20.
All right, I'm gonna give this whole coterie 1 dice straight up when dealing with Kirill. You guys, he thinks you're funny.
All right.
Just don't piss him off. Anything else you want?
You feel like you pretty well checked off everything that I had in mind to come talk to you about. So, thank you for your time, Sheriff. Good luck with. Send your lions my regards.
It was great seeing you. I'll bow and quickly exit.
Emil just gives him a real casual kind of nod, and will turn and make his way back out.
Alrighty. Well, that was fun.
Went better than expected.
When we
We don't have to make new characters.
Yeah. When we get back to the door, the hole in the wall, Emil's gonna roll his sleeves down, button them back up, throw his dress coat back on, straighten his posture. Ugh.
I'll tussle his hair again. You look better like that.
Meal, that was awesome. It was like Rocky squaring down with Mr. T.
Yes, well, have to know your audience, I suppose. If I'd went in there with my usual mannerisms, there's a very high chance that he would have erased my head with his fist, so...
I am assuming Emil grabbed his jacket before he walked out?
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah. He check it and make sure that his book is still there.
Oh, no one messed with it.
Okay. Because I didn't think about that, and I don't think he would have either when he put it down.
Yeah.
Perhaps Dr. Ford had better luck with Omnis.
Yes, what exactly was Dr. Ford attempting to get from Omnis?
So she would be going to Omnis to try to ask about any particular knowledge that they may have about the tunnels below Elysium, particularly regarding perhaps collapses or areas that are just not commonly traversed.
Omnis will inform you that they were not in Prague at that time before Marcus became prince.
Okay.
So any other tunnels other than the ones that lead down to the crypts that he's already in, he has no idea of them, except for the ones that lead into the cathedral itself.
Okay.
Which also lead into a cemetery not too far from here as well.
Huh. So, regarding some of the things that Omnis mentioned to Dr. Ford in the downtimes, I'm trying to think here. So there's a relic in the cathedral or in the church that's on fire, and Omnis said something about that might being the key to the fire itself.
Is this something that you're confirming with me, or you're discussing this with the coterie, just to make sure?
I'm confirming it with you because my mind is kind of drawing a blank, even though I read the downtime notes.
Okay. So far, what you've said is correct.
Mm-hmm. So has anyone has anyone gone through and attempted to enter, or that's where Omnis was looking for a volunteer?
That's where he's looking for That's one of the things he's looking for volunteers with, but people are too afraid to do that, which is understandable because you're talking about a flaming building made out of stone that could easily fall on you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Dr. Ford has a couple ideas. She does know someone who can perform a little bit of reconnaissance, but we would probably need to know, one, what exactly the relic looks like, because it's an arm. But like, is it like a gilded arm? Is it in a box? Is it on display, or is it locked away?
It is a gilded arm in a box, so there you go. As for how it is kept, it is locked away in private quarters that aren't supposed to be known about, which is strange because usually those things are on display.
Mm-hmm. And so since he knows that much, or they know that much,
Thank you.
would they be able to provide an idea of where those private quarters are that the relic is being hidden?
From what Omnis knows, the tunnels that used to belong to Prince Joseph should lead directly into the inner sanctum of the church, to where the relic was hidden.
Okay. So she's probably going to mention an idea that she has to her coterie, as well as suggest that that they may be able to retrieve this object. But since it was Prince Joseph who put it back, why? Why would Prince Joseph do that?
That is a good question. Omnis doesn't know.
And if Omnis doesn't know, okay. Well,
Could have been for his hatred of the previous prince.
It could have been. It could have been any number of motives. But in this particular case, if Omnis thinks that there is the possibility that removing it could put out the flames and may make the retrieval of the black box possible to confirm any information about Prince Marcus himself, I think that's what she may be doing. She may say, I think I'm going to volunteer myself and one other.
Omnis is interested in whatever volunteer work can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. By chance, do you happen to have fire retardant clothing on hand?
I'm sure that we can procure them, but I'm not sure that they will actually do anything if you yourself catch on fire.
True.
But if it makes you feel better.
It might.
If you give Omnis some time, they will be able to get you a couple of fire retardant outfits. Probably something directly from like a fire brigade or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah, that'll probably be something that she'll want to do. But she'll before she makes the formal offer of volunteering, she's going to go back up to the rest of the coterie, touch base with them first.
Okay, this will be where you come in. So as they're walking, or while they're finishing up their conversation with Kirill, you will be entering, and yeah.
So I guess I just missed the part about the blood sorceress.
We can have you walk in right at that moment if you'd like.
Oh my. She's a what?
Inconceivable.
A Bruja witch? What?
You thought you had a monopoly on it? Mm.
No, that just makes 3 then. Oh gosh. And she's how old?
Very.
Dear.
To put it in maybe a more clear perspective, she is Kirill's sire.
Oh.
Too old for us.
So,
Old enough to know this area. If this is where Curl's been, then
oh, again, I forget you weren't there. I'm not sure if you are aware of Katarina the Wise or Katarina Weiss. Oh, she has many pronunciations of her name.
oh,
Are you familiar?
The agitator of Prague.
those names are a little bit beyond me. I'm unfamiliar.
In the throes of the dominance compulsion. Oh, well, perhaps I could provide you a educational session at some point to educate you on the matters of such prominent figures in our kind's history. She is
with that
both.
throwing of shade, why don't you guys throw a social together?
Oh yeah. Her
Okay.
response is like, "Yes, you can do it as a favor to me."
Yeah, let's go ahead and do let's see, probably manipulation. On Emil's side, it would be manipulation plus leadership. And then on Dr. Ford's side, it would probably be their intelligence versus and their politics.
Ooh,
It's not the best pull for Emil, but I'll do it.
The loser of this test loses or takes another superficial willpower damage. How's Emil holding up with that?
I've spent 2.
I'm probably gonna spend a willpower.
It's a tie currently with 2 each.
It is the win to the active kindred, so Emil would be the one who takes that win, depending on how this reroll works.
Now that's 4 successes for Dr. Ford.
Yeah, you're still two traits down in all challenges until you.
I forgot that.
Yep.
So it would have just been my 2 hunger dice, so I would only had 1 success.
Well, no, you're not two traits down in attempting to gain dominance.
Gotcha.
Just everything else, because dominance is the only thing that matters to you right now.
Okay.
So you're still 2 traits down in all other challenges until then.
Okay. So what does Dr. Ford say in response to that?
Oh, you can do that as a favor to me.
A favor? I think I've provided you more information than you've been reasonably able to confirm on your own within the last 30 minutes. If anyone owes a favor, my dear, I believe it would be you.
Well,
I'm watching this exchange like a tennis match.
Yeah, this is a little. This is the cattiest shit ever.
I love it. I love it.
Well, this isn't my particular area of expertise, but I do so understand how you enjoy talking about it.
Ooh. Slap.
Well, perhaps if you were to enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoy talking about it, you might actually be up to speed, Dr. Ford. So allow me to inform you. Catherine Weiss otherwise known as Katerina the Wise, agitator of Prague, claimant to be a loyal member of the Camarilla, embraced well beyond the 14th century, also at one point presumed to be known and confirmed by Kirill himself, the Archbishop of New York before the Camarilla took control of it from the Sabbat.
So she's a pre-Camarilla, post or current Sabbat, currently here to mess us all up?
Well, Kirill believes she's here to provoke, or perhaps provoke is not the right word,
Agitate.
organize, yes, agitate matters by doing what she does best, playing both sides. And if she's here I would presume she's here unofficially, as we've not seen her amongst the court. And she's working closely with anarchs, and I believe Kirill mentioned something about a cult trying to give the Sabbat or establish a Sabbat foothold in the city.
Dr. Ford, if I can interpret for you, she's apparently like a recovering Sabbat member who's having a relapse.
Interesting.
It's a gross oversimplification of her malicious ambition, but I suppose if that helps you understand it, then yes.
Well, I have an idea, and this is kind of a totally different tangent. And she looks over to Paul for a second. I think I may have need of use of that favor. So, because we don't really have any leads on where the tunnels may go as far as finding a way out of here, how do you feel about going further in?
It makes no difference to me.
How about sending your shadow into the burning cathedral?
He kind of makes a face.
Paul would realize that wouldn't work.
Yeah, the flames tend to be the antithesis of my shadow, unfortunately.
That's disappointing.
Similar to the sun.
Well, similar, yes, but where there's flame, there's typically a shadow. So I was hoping there might be a way around it.
I mean, would that out of character? Would that be like a huge difficulty modifier to have it kind of like try and skirt around, or is it just too much fire?
Yeah, it's just too much light in the area. Like, I understand that fire does create shadow, but like it's so erratic that it tends to just kind of destroy any kind of obtenebration that's sent in there, or any oblivion that's sent in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd have to look at it, but I feel like it's probably nearly impossible.
Well, according to Kirill, there's tunnels throughout the city. Are there tunnels to the church? The shadow could definitely go through tunnels.
Well, Kirill did say that the Prince Yosef was said to have could travel to any building within Prague through the tunnel network. So we're back to finding the tunnels again.
We need to find an entry point to these tunnels. Which means we may need to find a very old, possibly very ornery Bruja sorceress.
There is the potential of finding Kirill's brother. Broodmate, more accurate term, but each in their own.
And what was the likelihood of Vasily having any of this knowledge?
Low. He's younger than Kirill.
And Kirill doesn't know.
If he knows, he wasn't willing to share.
I haven't known Bruja to be exactly subtle.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion that if we unfortunately cross paths with Katarina, that will change. How did Omnis know anything about the tunnels?
Omnis knows only of a couple tunnels, primarily the one that they are currently occupying, and of course also a tunnel to the burning church that also happens to lead to a cemetery or graveyard. But
Could
beyond
they be
that,
the same tunnels?
it could be. They were unaware of any collapses or any changes to infrastructure. So really, if, say, the tunnels were created by Prince Joseph, he may have modified them in such a way to only really be accessible to him. But that's speculation on my part.
It would be like proto Nosferatu warrens. I once had to be taken down there, and to get through it, you're going to need some potents just to move walls, possibly.
And galoshes, I would assume. Or just
Your feet
knee-high
are-
boots.
Your feet are going to get wet, my lady.
So I suppose we're back to square one then.
It would appear so.
We might be able to blunt force trauma this between our skills, as long as we have somebody that can possibly move a wall for us.
Mr. Prophet,
Yes.
forgive me if this is tactless by me asking, but would you have any particular insights as to perhaps how to locate these tunnels?
I was thinking, and I bet Omnis has this kind of technology. Something that we go down in the tunnels that are not mainly used with something that would map, particularly even all the dead ends. He prints out a map of that. I analyze the map to look at likely passages that wouldn't be seen but seem to be effective to moving to different destinations, and then we go from there. That would be my initial hypothesis.
Well, if the tunnels that we do know about connect the Elysium to the church and to the cemetery or graveyard, and he was able to negotiate his way across the entire city, perhaps we check the one place that we are not currently and is not currently on fire? The cemetery?
I'd love to surveil the university and figure out where the haven is and the comings and goings. If you can just put me in like one spot and leave me a couple bags of blood, I could probably learn something about that.
Very well.
So we'll drop you off at the university alone?
Could I
Well,
offer an alternative option?
Sure.
Dr. Ford was so keen on sending Paul's shadow into the burning church, but why don't we send Paul's shadow into the university?
So that way we can be in two places at once, searching the cemetery and the university at the same time.
That's
And I'm
why
at
we
home.
shouldn't send Paul's shadow?
I'm at home in a university. I can go with Prophet and keep an eye on him.
I was just attempting to make a or offer a solution that wouldn't involve either of you being within the gnawing teeth distance
Maybe
of
we
Catherine
stay
White.
together. Maybe we stay together for the cemetery, but I can set up in some area where I can surveil the university. This is what I do. This is sometimes it's to my detriment, but this is what I do. Is I watch traffic. I watch in and out. I find patterns. If I had any kind of way to tag cell phone communications and look at that, I'd be able to look at patterns and messages. I find out what's going on in an area and how to get in. That's my specialty.
Well, the one person that got into these areas is no longer here. He met his end at the end of a Nazi flamethrower. They could be completely unused.
Let us all go and check out these tunnels that lead to the cemetery, and see if perhaps Mr. Prophet has a surge of insight, or if the rest of us can notice anything. We won't know until we go. And we can swing up to the university after that. The cemetery is on the way to the university, so from here.
Sounds perfect.
So, what are you
All right.
guys doing exactly then? You're heading to the cemetery? Is that what I hear? Or
Cemetery
Yeah.
first.
okay,
But through the tunnels, right?
Yes. It would be safer than walking on the street.
Well, for some blood, I could remedy that.
So it's correct. The tunnel in the Elysium does lead to the cemetery. Is that right, Mekhet?
I have not. The entrance into the tunnels that is either in the Elysium or around the Elysium. Nobody really knows where that is.
Ah, okay. So
Omnis said that there is a tunnel entrance that he knows of in a cemetery nearby.
Okay.
Now, there are several cemeteries nearby. So, there is that.
So by know of, does he have specifics, or has he heard about it?
Yes, if you ask him exactly where it is and say that you're interested in checking out what he was talking about, yes. North of the Elysium, there is a synagogue. Outside of that synagogue is a very old cemetery. And it would be connected to one of the... it would be basically inside of one of the graves would be the entrance itself. The name on the the name on the cemetery on the grave would be Joseph Z. So the name of the old prince.
You get to go bug an old prince.
So when Dr. Ford looks at the name, she finally realizes that Prince Z and Prince Joseph are the same person.
I kind of want to play like Zelda Discovery music. Da 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 da. When you say.
Earlier, she was counting all the different princes on her fingers, and now she has to remove one.
Oh, you will find that there are very few princes that have ever ruled over Prague. This city is actually kind of interesting.
They were all Katarina Weiss.
All right.
So now we find it. Who wants to go in first?
Well, we're going to need flashlights.
I can go. I can see pretty well.
Does anyone actually need flashlights?
I'm
do.
fine.
I mean, it is in the middle of the city. It might be a little dark, but you're probably able to see what's going on.
As long as it's not supernatural darkness, heightened senses would allow me to see in the dark.
Oh,
Natural
yeah.
darkness.
Definitely. Almost as if it was day.
Mm-hmm.
Heightened senses up.
Yep.
Does
I think we
anybody
all have that.
does anybody want to take the lead on getting to the synagogue?
Going above ground for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to be checking out a revolver.
Who's leading? I'm gonna go get a gun.
I want a gun.
Check out a couple guns from the armory.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys can all check out one piece without anybody like raising an eyebrow or anything. I think the person who is the best for figuring out how to get where you're going without getting caught in any fashion is actually Mr. Prophet.
Yay.
With a wits plus investigation with your specialty, you can probably get you guys there pretty clean without running into any trouble.
Okay.
That is just a fun specialty. I'm glad we get to use it right now.
Me too.
Oh,
That's a critical.
That's pretty good.
that's a messy
it's
crit.
critical.
That is a messy critical. Yay.
Oh, how the dice betray us this evening.
That is... That's a 5.
That's a 7.
Is it
6 successes?
Wait.
7? So
4, 5,
3,
6,
4, 5
7.
plus 2.
Yeah. Holy crap.
It's 7.
Well, you're
7.
definitely going to get there. Jesus. You're going to get there, but you're going to end up... You guys basically have a bloodhound who's sniffing his way through the streets to try to get where he's going. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that you end up losing you end up gaining a hunger trait on your way. Your beast is going to like consume some of the blood to get where you're going. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let you choose. Would you rather gain a hunger or suffer from the Malkavian compulsion?
Ooh, I think the compulsion is more fun.
You want the compulsion?
Yeah,
Take the compulsion. That it makes a lot of sense because you're trying to get from point A to point B without getting noticed.
Yep.
You're able to do it, but that sense of paranoia is going to become incredibly overwhelming.
Yep.
All right, so you guys arrive. The streets are relatively dead. You might see the random prostitute here, the random couple walking and avoiding authorities there, and then maybe occasionally a police car or a frighteningly large black reflective, like shiny paint military truck drive by. But aside from that, you're able to get from point A to B without much of an issue. This is probably one of the oldest buildings in Prague. This synagogue has been standing for literal centuries. And the cemetery next to it is actually quite large, considering the small amount of space there actually is on the property. The bodies are buried like shoulder to shoulder almost. It kind of feels like some of them might actually be stacked because of the amount of disrespect that the culture faced in the old Jewish the old Jewish corner of the city during its early nights.
We're here, but I don't like the feeling of this.
Is it the feeling of death?
Death would be a distant consequence.
Everything
So
seems
fate.
to be in order.
Well, we all need to be on our guard then.
Quite the impressive display of navigation, Mr. Prophet.
Do you what? Okay, why are you buttering me up?
I was simply offering you a compliment.
Okay, stop doing that.
Very well.
So we got to find Joseph C's grave. Fan out and look.
All right.
Fan out,
Paul
but not
will-
too far.
Paul will turn left along one of the walls and just start searching the closest graves along that way.
Mill fan out from there and start giving a good look over everything.
I believe that we are at a situation where it is going to be a wits plus investigation roll, attempting to find it. A lot of the grave markers are incredibly worn and hard to read.
Would a specialization for investigation in deduction help here?
Yes, because there is some common sense involved in like looking around to see certain things.
Okay. And do we add our aspects for height senses?
Right then.
Oh yeah, definitely use your heightened senses. You can get one trade up. Anybody who has one trade up, or wow, fucking construct sentences the right way, please. Anyone who has aspects heightened senses can add a dice to your search. Is what I was going to say.
Paul has 5 successes.
Mill also
Dr.
has 5.
And Dr. Ford has 5.
Okay.
Dr. Ford rolled all successes.
Did I hear somebody said they have 7?
Yes.
I'm just going to give that to you. Because I think everybody would have found it pretty quickly anyway. There is a small marker that is next to a large sepulcher that says, very hard to make out, but it says Joseph Z. It is Josef Zvi, and it's really sad. It is it's just a small marker with the name and the dates 1142 to 1160, and that's it.
Just for context, did Prophet find it, or did he find it after someone else might have walked past it?
Did it was Prophet the one who got 7?
Yeah.
Prophet finds it specifically because you just would have found it first. Everybody finds it pretty quickly, but Prophet is the one who lays his eyes on it first.
So right here.
Ooh, perfect.
So I assume the way in is to open it. Crawl into where the body should be.
Maybe, or do you think the entrance could be in this adjacent structure?
It could be. This is definitely not my area of expertise.
Okay, looking over the building, does it look like there's an entry?
The building itself is, that it's next to is just the is the synagogue. It's massive. There are a set of double doors around the corner to the front of the building. but there's no obvious doors anywhere near the grave.
Weird question. Given our location, could Paul use Oblivion Sight just to see if there's any spooky hints around, perhaps?
Any spooky hints?
Any ghosts? Any hauntings?
You're using Sense the Unseen?
Oblivion Sight.
Oh, Oblivion Sight. If you activate Oblivion Sight, there are definitely things all over this cemetery. The shadows seem longer. There seems to be movement where you can tell that there really should not be.
Paul's like
No.
head on a swivel, kind of looking around. But he doesn't say
that's got to
anything.
be doing fucking wonders for Mr. Prophet's paranoia.
Yeah. Prophet's watching. Like,
Do not look now, but we are surrounded.
Prophet's just like Paul sees them too.
Couple back there probably wasn't a couple.
They've merged into one, and now they're coming after you.
A prostitute. Well, who brought a shovel?
Paul would have brought a crowbar. The same crowbar from the first night.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
The traditional crowbar.
You gotta have something to smack with.
Emil's gonna observe, really take in the structure of this headstone,
Okay.
and kind of letting his obsession of aesthetic kind of guide his scrutiny
Okay.
and see if there's anything that stands out.
The placard or the headstone, it's very small, but it's very finely made. You're in an area of the cemetery where most of the grave markers are very cheap. Obviously, poor families could not afford very much. As old as this placard is, having been here since 1160, it's incredibly well preserved. And the fact that it's kind of just leaning against this sepulchre, which, for those of you who need to know, what that looks like, it's this small, circular, it looks like it should be a building that doesn't really have an entrance, with a very tarnished old copper roof. So, this body has some pretty impressive memoriam to it.
He will kind of kneel down and run his hands across the stone, behind the stone where it makes, you said, where it kind of leans on the building.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just gonna check and see if there are any anything that feels like it's more than just a headstone.
There's a rather pronounced bump on the back of it. It feels like there's something that's almost connected to the back of the headstone itself.
Does it feel like he could push on it or pull on it or turn it?
Possibly. It does feel like it could be moved.
Paul,
Mhm.
you want to see if you can? He'll kind of gesture to come over to the stone. Would you mind? There's a protrusion on the back of this stone. If you could move it. I'm not sure if it turns, if you push it in, but it does feel as though it could move.
All right. He comes over and squats down and starts to feel around for
There's
wherever he had his hand.
definitely something back there.
he'll push it in, and if that doesn't work, he'll yank it out.
Okay. Pushing it in, doesn't really seem to be doing much. What do you mean by pull it out?
He'll try and like grip the protrusion and pull it, almost like you're opening a drawer, to see if there's anything that, like a hidden compartment or something like that, that comes out.
That's a little bit awkward with the way that the stone is. Like getting your hand back there to be able to grab it.
Ah, okay. Can he shift it anyway, side to side, or twist it?
It slightly moves, like it's connected by something.
Like connected in, like deeper inside the stone.
Yes, it seems to be connected to the stone itself and possibly into the mausoleum.
You said
Like,
the stone's kind of tilted.
sepulture. It's just tilted, like resting on the side of the sepulture. Yeah.
Does the stone itself move?
It can.
Like pulling it away from the sepulcher and like rocking it forward?
Is a mill attempting to do this?
Yeah.
That is a little difficult.
Okay.
It seems to be rather stuck.
After fiddling with it for a while, Paul will kind of give up, and seeing Emil try to do that, he'll join him if he can add his strength to it.
Paul. With your potence, you're able to dislodge it. You guys are going to hear a mechanical gear sound, and part of the sepulchre is actually going to click, and then the stone is going to move out of the way, revealing a door. A puff of dust and like gases kind of pour out of it as it releases almost like a deep belching sound.
Yummy.
Well, that's innovative. Since the unseen on the door.
Since the unseen on the door. You pick up a very strange kind of a reddish glimmer on the door itself.
There's a strange glow on the door.
Benny, does Dr. Ford have Sense the Unseen?
Yes.
Okay, you're both going to be able to recognize that as somebody has performed a blood sorcery ritual on this.
That's pretty much what I was thinking.
It's very old and very potent.
I'll turn to Dr. Ford. You think it's warded?
Well, there's one way to find out.
So there's two. You touch it or I touch it.
Whoever it is, it certainly won't be me.
Can you break a ward?
I don't know. I've not actually broken anyone's wards before. So she had so speaking directly to the storyteller.
Yes.
She has a discipline called Scour Secrets.
Mm-hmm. Scour Secrets allows your blood to leave your body, go over like books or tablets or anything that's written down. I would actually, personally, I consider myself a nice storyteller, and I would allow you to like go over like computer equipment as well, and then your blood comes back to you, and you've basically spent one round to read everything that your blood touched.
Mm-hmm. So in this particular case, would it be possible to try to read, per se, the ward to see if it is dangerous to us?
Ooh, okay. You know what? Go ahead. I like that. I don't think that's what that discipline's for, but I like it.
Okay. So it's intelligence and blood sorcery versus a standard difficulty, and it says that the range can be from like 2 to 5 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's going to be 7 dice. I got to get in the right channel to throw the dice. Bam. So far that's 3 successes.
You can read this ward.
Okay.
You know that this is ward versus K-Knight.
Oh, shucks.
And you know that it was cast by a Katarina the Wise.
Even worse.
You can see her signature on it.
She signed it.
Well, every ward or something like that is going to have a thaumaturgical signature of anybody who casts it.
Yeah, it's like the fingerprint rather than a signature. I get you.
Yeah.
I'm just the way that my first impression of it, she signed her name.
She signed it.
At the bottom
We
it
have
says
her
suck it.
autograph.
Okay.
Yeah, she wrote her name on it. She wants to know who said "Get out of here."
It could very well be hidden on who cast it, and she did not bother.
Okay. And that also requires a rouse check. So
Yes.
boop. Okay, I'm cool. Yeah. So this is a ward against our own kind, which is a very particularly powerful ward in of itself, and it has all the distinct characteristics of who I would assume would be a Katarina. She's been here. She knew about this, and she wants to keep others out.
The door itself, just to let everybody know, is iron. It's a big iron door with all of these big rivets in it. It's a very large Dark Age style door, and in the very center of it is a crest, which kind of looks like the Man in the Iron mask on top of a shield with a helmet emboldened into it, with a flowing, stained blood red cowl coming off the mask itself that has 6 distinct locks on it. A crown, which looks like it's made out of stone bricks, and a griffin holding a key sitting on top of its head.
And this is on the iron door.
Yes, and specifically that is what is warded. That symbol, that door, those keys, or those locks.
Are they actual locks?
They are, in fact, actual locks.
Is that an actual key?
No.
I didn't think it would be that easy, but I had to ask.
It's not.
So since it's just this one object that's warded, and technically not the whole passage entrance itself, perhaps if someone wished to press on it using the crowbar, maybe that would work. I don't know if these locks are the things that we're supposed to use.
What are the chances that your shadow could get under or around the door?
It's not a kindred, so pretty high, I suppose.
Think it could. Can it do things, or can it only see?
It can only see.
Well, this would explain how Ekaterina has been getting around the city unnoticed.
So what happens if we break the ward, or if we go in? Will she know we were here?
So typically with a ward, once it triggers, it becomes a static effect. So if no one's touched it, then it's not. How do I put this? Don't touch it with your hand. Try touching it with the crowbar, because if this symbol is just a button in of itself, then that might be the way around it.
All right. He'll hoist the crowbar up in one hand and like carefully reach out over the threshold with it to touch the symbol.
Emil takes like 3 or 4 good steps back.
You can touch the crest with the crowbar without an issue.
And the crest is like it's like part of the design of the door, right? It's not like on top of it.
No, it's built in through the metalwork.
Okay. Should I try and knock some of these locks off?
So I guess my question though would be to the storyteller. So pressing the crest itself does nothing, correct?
I mean, you're just poking it with well, the crest itself is built into the metal door. It's like part of
Okay.
it. But no, like it's not it doesn't seem to be like a button, but it's built into the door.
But it's the locks that are the thing.
It does seem that way, yes. Like the locks themselves are also built into the design. They're not like locks hanging off of it, but there are legit keyholes in each one.
And each lock is warded, or the entirety of the pieces?
It seems just to be the door itself, but it's radiating from the crest.
Okay.
I would not touch that with your bare hands.
I would avoid it.
What about my human hands?
I mean, you can give it a shot and see if your storyteller respects smartassery.
So if the way in is to unlock these locks, where are the keys, if not the key on top of the crest?
The griffin head.
Is there a griffin in this cemetery?
I suppose we have some time to find out.
Forgive me, I'm simply trying to process the fact that not only are we aware that Ekaterina is in the city, but we're actively attempting to utilize the tunnels that she has very obviously claimed as her own. And
I do want to point out that it does not look like anybody has opened this for centuries.
I was just about to say, it doesn't look like it's been used for years.
Yeah, no, there is cobwebs and dirt and everything. This does not look like it was warded recently.
okay.
Do you think this could make a decent bait for her if we were to alert Peril and his lions to hide close by and then trip the ward? Maybe she would show up.
I don't understand if tripping the ward. I'm not a sorcerer. That's for Dr. Ford to answer.
Not all wards are designed to inform the caster once they have been traversed. So it's not a guarantee that she would know.
What's the symbol on the door? Is that like a medieval Nosferatu? Like, who else would have to have their face covered up?
Well, it matches the banner that was in the Elysium when Maya put up the ancient founding clan banners for the Camarilla. This is the one that she hung for the Nosferatu.
And if memory serves, Prince Sri was a Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's warded specifically against non-Nosferatu?
It could be, but all I got was that it's a ward against kindred specifically. And so when establishing a ward, the caster can identify or it intentionally exclude individuals from being affected from it.
Yeah.
But at this point, who would she have excluded?
True.
And did she cast it before or after? No. If it's been undisturbed for centuries, and Prince Joseph died in World War II, but he would have been able to access it since then, or not since his death, but up until his death.
So that could mean she still was on friendly terms with him up until his death.
Could be.
I'm just saying we need to figure out what to do with this door and then get the fuck out of here.
You said that the caster can choose to exclude someone from its effects.
Yes, typically at the time. So if this was cast before the death of Prince Joseph, she could have intentionally cast it so he could use it and possibly not even know it's there.
But was it before the embrace of her child?
And would she have cared to give him that access?
Well, we know Kirill doesn't know about it.
Yeah, so we're talking the 1100s. This is well beyond Kirill's time, from the way he spoke, at least. She
Are the
does have
hinges on
another
the
child.
Are the hinges on the inside or the outside?
The hinges would be on the inside.
All right.
I'll just say you don't see any hinges, so you can assume they're on the inside.
Does anyone know a human lockpick? He looks at Emil knowingly.
Lockpick? I'm afraid the larcenous arts are not one of my expertises.
Knowing people is.
True. If you'll give me a brief moment to step away, I'll make a phone call.
Because if it's warded against kindred, human hands can touch it.
Yes, that was the only ward I could detect.
Could this be a job for, what's his name? Siggy?
Quite possibly.
Well, should we attempt using Siggy first before I call in a favor?
Favor for which we would have to prevent that person from revealing that information.
Sigmund pick locks?
I'm not sure if that's in his particular skill set.
Have him cast a ritual to pick locks.
I cast pick locks.
Is it that easy?
I think that's called knock.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Emil cocks the gun. I cast Glock.
Nice.
No, I don't want to draw attention, but
Wow, it's only 6 shots. Go for it.
it's one for each lock.
Not warded versus C4.
Ah, you got the serious putty out, not the silly putty. Gotcha. All right. So what is everybody's action that we are going to leave off on? Because it is 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I think Emil's gonna step away and make a phone call.
Okay.
And a prophet's going to use heightened senses to listen to this phone call.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I guess-
bye.
we can go into behind closed doors and get that phone call out of the way. All right. So, who are you calling?
Well, Emil is gonna send a text message first, and I
Okay.
sent it to you in private chat.
Okay.
And he's gonna wait for a phone call.
Okay. A couple of minutes will pass by, and then you will receive your phone call.
Before he answers,
do I assume I know who you're calling?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Before they answer.
Yeah, before he answers, he does. I mean, Emil is good at what he does. He's not gonna just risk being overheard for the sake of ease.
Mm-hmm.
So he is gonna try to make sure that like nobody's paying attention or nobody's present.
Okay. That would be a wits plus awareness versus if I don't know if Prophet is using obfuscate or anything.
Yeah, he will use obfuscate. I'll have to do a rouse check. They roll in here, or oh no, in rolls. Okay.
In rolls.
I can go ahead and make your rouse check, but I'm just gonna say this now. If you're using obfuscate, I don't have sense the unseen, so I can't challenge you on this.
Okay.
All right.
So you do have to make your rouse check, but that'll be that.
I'll make my wits awareness roll just to see what I would have gotten.
Okay.
I get hungrier.
It's like 5 successes if
Wow.
you weren't using obfuscate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm confident no one's around.
You are
Or
confident
over
no
here.
one's around.
All right. He'll answer the phone.
Interesting development, I take it. There's a woman's voice on the other end.
Indeed. And Prophet would make note that Emil's not talking in his usual flowery decor. It's it's much more how would you describe it, Mekhet? Direct?
You are all business right now.
Yeah.
That really is the best way of looking at it.
Yeah. We have located what we believe to be the entrance to these the underground tunnels.
Very good.
However, the complications continue to grow exponentially.
Well, we didn't think this was going to be easy, now did we?
No, but a fool can hope.
What exactly are these new complications?
Well, they are warded against canites.
Of course they are.
But it's not just the ward that is the issue. It's who laid the ward.
Who laid the ward?
Ekaterina the Wise.
Goddamn Bruja. All right.
Fortunately, she has also been seen doing what she does best, agitating things.
She's in Prague.
Oh yes, I've seen her with my own eyes. Not in person, but on camera.
Interesting. Are either of your sorcerers able to break this ward?
Neither of them feel confident.
Well then. Any idea if there are exceptions to the ward?
That is part of the reason why I'm calling you. Katerina had this mausoleum, this sepulcher, and this headstone that are the all-encompassing entrance to these tunnels are dated in the 1100s. And after proving myself to Kirill, I was able to keep him talking long enough to get at least some information out of him. He has reason to believe that she is staying at the university in an old haven that she used to have there. Why he hasn't sent his lions there to figure that out yet, I'm not entirely confident for the
The
reason
rebel
behind
is
that.
most likely afraid of his sire.
Well, they have reason to be, if the stories I've heard are true.
I do have good news for you, though.
What's that?
Wards tend to keep the potency of the kindred who cast them. And I happen to know for a fact that Ekaterina the Wise lied about her age significantly when she cast that. So, the ward might not be as powerful as your sorcerers think it is.
That is good news. Look, I was curious about a name that had crossed my path some years ago. If this was the 1100s when this ward was placed, and she, as my understanding is, the caster can exclude whomever they wish. What do we know about Christoph Rommel?
Christoph Romuald. Well, it's said that he travels with a Zamitzi. Let's see. He was thought dead for quite a long time until he was seen in 1999. He hasn't made many appearances since then. He has been seen in Prague over the years since his reemergence. And he is known to have had a successful interaction with the Society of Leopold at one point.
Successful meaning?
Meaning he caused some disturbances in a chapter house once.
Let's see. So you said he has been seen in Prague of recent?
I don't know about recent, but I know that after 1999 there were many sightings.
I mean, I don't mean to presume you know anything more, but 99 was my deployment in New York.
Yes. That was
What are
also
the
when
chan-
he was in New York.
Was there any chance that I've crossed paths with him, that maybe I've seen his face before?
I don't know.
Been
I do know that he was traveling with anarchs at the time.
So he holds no allegiance to the Camarilla.
Not that I've ever seen.
Well, Kirill seems to think there's a possibility that Kristoff is aligned with his sire. And he has mentioned to me, out of character really quick, Mekhet,
Yes.
in the correspondence that I've been having, has there been any mention of the cult through that correspondence?
There hasn't been any message, or there have not been any mentions of the cults.
Okay.
The person you're talking to right now is going to let you know that Kristoff himself is on the red list at the moment, though.
Of course he is.
For the murder of a Ventru by the name of Orsi in New York, also in 1999.
That would explain why I remembered his name. Well, if Kirill's suspicion that he is in New York, or in Prague rather, is correct, and he's a target, what is my primary objective now? I have yet to break my cover. I think this little coterie has some potential as Belladers, and the Banu Hakim and the La Sombra, though it hurts me to say, might make good auditors.
We've been tracking the money that's been going from the Vatican into Prague. The money itself is primarily being shipped in through Munich. They're building something. We're not 100% sure what that thing is, but we believe it might be some type of military siege engine.
You mean the Vatican?
The Vatican is funding this, yes.
Yeah, that's what my mortal contacts have informed me of as well. I just assumed, perhaps I shouldn't have, that they were working on a project being their little siege
They
as
are.
it stands.
They are, but I believe it might be a lot bigger than we were imagining. I would say the prime goal that you would be facing right now is to unease the entity's hold on Prague, if possible. As much as we would like to handle the destabilization of what's happening with the Camarilla right now concerning M and the rest of them, the main concern would be what the entity is up to. Perhaps if you can find evidence of correspondence with Munich.
Are you suggesting direct confrontation with entity uh, with entity soldiers?
Direct confrontation, no, but if you can steal some of their intel. Do what you do best.
Understood.
If I get more information, I will inform you.
Very well. Um, if I can convince the sorcerers to take their shot at this ward to open up the tunnel network, that would give you a mean to send the Archons in.
Yes.
So I will attempt to complete this objective before moving on to taking in information on who's funneling the money and how, if you would permit it.
Find out what you can.
I will inform you if we make progress on the network.
Please do.
All right. Apologies for being crass, but I'm going to have to leave, end this call. I can't have them getting any more antsy, wondering what I'm doing.
Yeah. You have an objective. Complete it. And she'll hang up.
he kind of just like drops his head, holding the phone out in his hand, shuts the phone, forcibly takes a deep breath. And you see his posture slump, kind of relax, like a great deal. And I would say only because Prophet is listening in with heightened senses, he hears him muttering to himself, "Come on, Henry, you can do this. Put on a smile. Give him a show." And his posture straightens back up. He forces out another deep breath, and he turns to strut back toward the coterie as he would any other night.